seat, which covers a lot of this anyway. And it really then is opening it up as a question and answer session, which can go on as long as you want it to, until I fall asleep anyway. I'd first off like to say a big welcome to everybody that's turned up. I'll turn my mobile phone off first. Sorry. Should have actually there then. Yeah, just a welcome to this, and thanks very much for attending. It just shows how much support football in Scarborough has. I wasn't really sure how many people would turn up tonight, and I'm overjoyed that we've filled this room, so thank you for that. I just want to start by saying, obviously, it's a sad time for everybody that the old club has gone. I just want to make it very clear that it was not something that the trust wanted at all. Yes, we were planning for a new club, but it was a just in case. Even with the timescales that we have, it's tight. It's going to be a huge struggle to get a new club up and running in time for the start of the season. But it would have been a lot easier if the old club had carried on. And we'd certainly be playing at a much higher level than we are now. But we are where we are, and we have to move on and look to the future. My own personal view, I know a lot of people will view the two clubs as two separate entities. My own view is that they're both senior football team for Scarborough, and for me the new team is a continuation of that history, and it's the next chapter. It's got a slightly different name, but it's still football for Scarborough. I hope that's what my people. The next thing I wanted to talk about is it's a bit boring, but I just wanted to explain for those that don't know what a supporters trust is and how it's set up, and how it's. Some people keep asking me why you're just the same as a supporters club, or why did you do what you did. Supporters trusts have been around since the early 90s, and there's now 150 of them all over the UK. A number of them already own a controlling share in the football clubs that they support, such as Stockport, Chesterfield, Exeter, to name but a few. And of course the ones that have started from scratch, like FC United, AFC Telford, they are all owned and run by Supporters Trust. A Supporters Trust is normally set up as a type of company called an Industrial and Provident Society, and you've probably never heard of one of those, but the Co-op is an Industrial and Provident Society, for example. They are owned by their members equally. All members own one share in the company. They can't hold more than one, and they're protected in that way. Nobody can come in and buy out an Industrial and Provident Society. It's protected in law in that way. So that's what a trust is. Anybody who's a member is a shareholder of that company. And in our case, where we're going from here is that the Supporters Trust now will effectively be the only shareholder in the new football club. So anybody who's a member of the Supporters Trust will be a single shareholder in the new football club. Like I say, that's been used at other football clubs, and it's a good way of protecting from unwarranted or unwished outside interest. The board of directors of the Supporters Trust, which is all of us up here, with the exception of the gentleman on my left, who I'll get to shortly. They're elected by the members. Elections are held every year, and ordinarily you'll have a third of the board at any one time standing down and standing for election again. Now we had our first, for those that don't know, we had our first proper elections as a Supporters Trust in April this year, so we all got elected onto that board. At a recent board meeting, we decided that we weren't elected to run a football club. We were elected to run a Supporters Trust that was aiming to get representation on the board of directors of Scarborough Football Club, and possibly gain a shareholding in that company as well. In recognition of the fact that that dynamic has now completely changed, we will be standing down to a man and woman and holding fresh elections within a couple of months. We just need to agree the timescale on when we're going to do that, which gives the opportunity for anybody else who is a member of the trust and wishes to be involved in the running of a football club, not just the running of a trust, to stand in those elections and get involved at board level in that respect. So we're giving advance notice now for anybody who's wishing to get involved to that level. The mechanism's there. All you have to do is join the trust, stand for election, and put your case to your fellow fans, your fellow members. In terms of what we've been doing, obviously we've had our plan in place for a couple of months now. We've been working on it, so we've already had a business plan in case ready for this. Now that we've actually got the go-ahead, and there is the one application on the table, we have been formally admitted to Northern Counties East League Division 1 with the name Scarborough Athletic. Now, ordinarily, if time had allowed, I would have wanted to hold a meeting like this to have a discussion about what the name would be. Unfortunately, again, because of the time constraints from when the old club finally went under, and the few weeks that we had to get to the start of the season, we've had to register a name. We did actually choose it a few months back between us, and the Athletic comes as a nod to the old name of the ground. We could look at changing it in a year's time. If anybody strongly objects to it in a year's time, we can look at that again next year if anybody wants to put a motion to us to get it changed. So like I say, we've registered in Northern Counties East League Division 1, and the fixtures for that will be released middle of next week. I think they're just waiting because there's a couple of teams ground sharing with the teams in the Unipont League. They have to wait for the Unipont to issue their fixtures first and then work around those. The most immediate thing that we've been attempting to sort out is finding a manager, and I've said on numerous occasions in the press that what we're looking for primarily is somebody with experience at the level that we're playing at. Lots of people have said to me we should get Neil Warnock in. We did actually manage to get Radio York to ask him one morning, but he politely declined. Joking aside, we have to get someone with pedigree at this level who knows the players, knows the value of those players as well, so we're not paying over the odds for players. And that's what we've been working on. We have a short list of 6. I think we're very close to actually announcing who that manager will be. I was hoping to do that tonight, but we're not quite there. But watch this space. Moving on from appointing the manager is obviously getting the team together. The likely manager that we've got lined up has a huge number of contacts, so he'll be able to draw on those for us to get the team together. Plus, as well as that, we should be holding player trials. Andy on my far right is going to be presiding over that in terms of organisation, and that'll be in a couple of weeks. One thing we forgot to do tonight was actually print off. We've got a player application form drawn up just so we can keep a record of all these applicants. I forgot to print it off, but it is available to download from the club website, which is scarboroughAthletic.com, which is now up and running as of last night. So if anybody knows anybody who might be interested in playing for the club, you're more than welcome to apply, and the new manager will assess you based on that, on the information on that form, and then possibly invite you to come along to trials. I just want to explain why as well we're having to play at Bridlington